Hi.
Hi. We'll give you guys a couple seconds to hop on before we start talking.
Of course, we're still going to talk.
We're going to talk, just not about what we're talking about yet.
Start
so you
talking.
guys get on.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about today's episode.
Oh, we gotta share it. Have we shared it?
Oh yeah, so let's do that first.
Yeah, we'll share into where we need to go. I feel like that sentence didn't even make sense. Sorry, guys.
We're just sharing where we need to real quick before we actually get started.
Yes.
So bear with us while we share this and all of our
share
places.
it to our new Lighten Up page.
Oh yeah.
So go check that out.
Good.
Because it's hilarious.
Yeah, if you guys have not liked or followed our page, Lighten Up, you need to, because there's some good content that's about to be coming on there and already on there.
Yeah.
So funny. We make, memes, funny GIFs, what else? Videos, just everything. Oh, yeah. So you guys need to go follow us.
Only been there like a week?
Yeah.
Or
so you guys need to go like and follow it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to have some good stuff coming up.
If you like random hilarious stuff, you'll like that page.
If you like Morgan and I, you will like that page.
That's true, yes.
Like, it's definitely our sense of humor.
It definitely
expressed in another form. So be sure to check it out.
Okay, we're sharing. Not ignoring you, sharing. Okay. And you have your computer so we can see comments.
Yep.
We need to, okay. And I can get my phone out later.
Yep. And I've got it shared in here.
Cool.
And then I need to share
hey, Lauren, hey Beth. Jordan!
He's like, what?
Ivan senses something. Maybe he's looking for Jordan. He's like, Jordan's here? Oh, look! He said her name and he's like looking.
That was funny. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Why is this not letting me? Can I just post it here?
I don't know.
Let's try this. Okay, there it goes.
Okay, sweet.
And I'll go back and edit it later.
Okay.
Like all this stuff.
Yeah. Editing all
Boom.
things. Okay.
All right. We're good. We're good to go. And then pull up the comments.
Awesome.
All right. All right. Now we're good.
Okay, guys.
Hey, look. Hey, Jordanson. All right, guys. Welcome to episode 29 of the AWAKEN Vlogcast.
29. We're almost at 30.
I know.
Oh, we have something special for 30, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Keep it under wraps. It's a surprise. All right, so episode 29, we're talking about God. And, what
controversial.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Like everything we talk about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, who or what God is to you. And, yeah, just lots of different things that we like to talk about. So, if you're new to these lives, these are interactive lives. We don't talk at you. We talk with you. It's open dialogue conversations. So, feel free to put in the comments.
Yeah.
What you guys have comments about or want to interact. Anything you want to say. We interact live. We respond live also.
Yeah.
So, that's how this works if you're new. So, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
I don't know. You can start.
All right.
You can start. Yeah.
I'll start with my notes.
Cool.
All right. So, first of all, I talk about this short story all the time. But
yes, but it's good.
It's so good. And you guys, if you haven't read it, it's literally a 5-minute read. But the reason I like it, so I was first introduced to the short story back when I saw Rob Bell speak up in Tulsa a couple years ago. I mean, it's more than a couple years ago now. But if those of you who don't know who Rob Bell is, he was in the Christian faith, right? And now he's, what's the word? The things he talks about are like what we talk about. Right. But he comes from that background, so it's like blasphemous. So like people like protest his talks and things like that and saying that he's going to hell. But there's so much good stuff and science behind those things.
I hadn't heard of him until you told me about him. And I was like, oh, he sounds cool. And I like when people have that religious background. I know a few people because they've done the studies, they've gotten really deep into it, and they still end up on the more spiritual side.
Yeah. But it's like they get the whole picture.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really cool perspective for them to
and that's how I
share.
About my journey, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, the short story is called The Egg by Andy Weir, and Weir is spelled W-E-I-R. So if you haven't checked it out, you should totally do it. But basically, short review of what it is that we are all God. And so today we're talking about what I know.
How dare
Listen, I've had people say that to me. I've had Catholic people say it. Like, I never
can't say that.
Yeah, because something has to be above them. But anyway, I believe, in my belief, we're all extensions of God, and then I'm going to explain later my belief on what God even actually is. Mm-hmm. And so will Morgan, her belief on those things. So you guys check that out. That's the first thing. Yeah. So the first thing I want to say too also is, who or what is God to me? So to me, I don't use the word God personally. It's words are words, and they only have the meaning we give to them. Yeah. Personally, for me, I'll either use universe or source, but in reality, all the things that I use and encompass everything is love. Like, that's what it is. So to me, the other names for God, the universe, Allah, source, life force, infinite intelligence, they're all talking about the same thing, really. And Sky Daddy. That's my favorite. This will never get old.
And this is like, if you're like get uptight with this stuff, like, this is not
for you. You don't want to watch this episode if this is for you. Right. Or maybe you do. Maybe we need to trigger you so you wake up. So you should watch this episode.
There's a funny meme about that. That's funny. I'll have to share later, because it would not make sense.
But in my experience, so I'm similar to like we were talking about with Rob Bell, being on both sides of it. So my life, growing up with religion and things like that, especially who I am as a person, right? I was told basically all these things were wrong with me for a long time, and it's taken me a long.
That's so sad.
Well, it's because people don't get it, and it's fine. And I feel bad for those people, but it's taken me a long time to unlearn those things that I was like told over and over. Especially being gay, like, you're going to hell because you're gay. Like, I'm like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever, because love is love.
You're like. Yeah. I'm sure we'll get into all this stuff.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. So for me, like, as I've grown up, it's been exploring all these different religions or belief systems. I love to learn, and that's something like I am a lifetime learner, so I'll never stop learning. And so one thing for me was learning about other religions or belief systems. Mm-hmm. So I've studied like Hinduism, Buddhism. Like I said, I grew up with Christianity, but really it's all led back even to now where, like, spiritual. I consider myself a spiritual person because I take things from every belief system. I don't even want to say religion, because not all of the things I listed are actually religions. Like, Buddhism is not actually a religion.
And a lot of people think it is.
And they think that it is, and it's actually not. Yeah. But I take things that align with me and my higher self and who I am from all of the different things that I've learned and have yet to learn, right? I might come across another one that I'm like, that aligns with me, and I'm going to take that and practice that. Oh, yeah. That's
always fun. When you're like, oh my God, that totally makes sense to me. Yeah, that's another piece to my puzzle.
So for me, like, when I'm talking about being spiritual, I'm not just on one side of it. These are things that I've experienced, that I've learned, that I'm still learning about, and I've just evolved into who I am because of those things. And I think it helps give you, like, the bigger picture, because what I've learned myself about studying these religions and stuff like that, or belief systems, is that they're actually all saying the same thing, just in a different language, or...
Yes.
Like, they're all saying the same... Yes, like, there's... The translation's a little bit differently, because not everything translates equally across, certain languages, which...
Or correctly.
Yeah, we've talked about that. One thing in one, language can mean something totally different than the other. Yeah. But really, if someone was just to set all these people down in the same room and let them conversate with one another, instead of being divided, like religion actually is used for a lot of the time, I think they'd be pleasantly surprised that they're all trying to tell the same story, just slightly different. Yeah. Or with a different name for the God, right? Because that's really what it is. Yeah. But the source that they're all talking about is the same thing. They just have different names for it. So for me, like I said, I see the whole bigger picture. I don't push my views on people, which I think that's one thing that I am purposeful about, because for me, growing up, like I said, with Christianity and having people push things on me a lot.
You experienced that, and you didn't
like it. I would never, like, honestly.
You don't want to make other people feel the way you felt.
I would never want to make somebody else feel that ever. Like, I just, that's not me. Yeah. And I think because I have that mindset, it opens me up to having more meaningful, deeper conversations, because I'm not just using my belief system, and if somebody doesn't agree or align with that, just shut down that conversation, which you have a lot of time that happens with.
That happens so much.
I'll use Christianity and spirituality. Okay, we'll use those two. Yeah. Because I consider myself spiritual. But
which a lot of people laugh at too, like, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
It's spiritual. That's not anything. And you're like, shut up.
I don't believe, my belief is that you don't have to go to a building to practice what you practice. Right. And I'm talking about a building as in church. I don't have to go to church every Sunday or Wednesday night or whatever.
Or ever.
Yeah, because I believe it's internal. I believe it's a belief system, it's integrity, it's like your internal dialogue, your guidance system, all these things, it's all inside. And I think a lot of people, the reason religion aligns with them so much is because people are always looking externally for these things to like fix them or guide them. And it's like
society pushes that a lot, is that it's external things that make you
need
happy or good.
And it's bullshit. It's not true.
It's all internal.
You already have everything you need inside of you at any given moment since the time you were created. Yeah. And anything outside of that is bullshit. I mean, you can take things, you can learn from them, but you don't need them. Right. They can help you expand your inner self. But I think the thing with religion a lot of time is more so used to put people in a box or to control them, which I know we've talked about that
Control
before.
and fear are very, well...
Because I know people
use fear to control people.
Yeah.
And, it's...
Well, how many people do you know that go to church, that are considered, religious, and they go to church on Sundays, right? Yeah. But then the whole other 6 days of the week, they're just doing, like, crazy things that go against everything they stand for. And you're just like, but wait a minute, what? Yeah. But then they go to church and everything's good, and then they go back to doing it. And just... We
knew this, and we're supposed to be love and light towards everybody, but we...
We are love and light. We say all these things with love.
But there are facades and egos that we have to wear. So there's this one guy who was friends with the church pastor we used to go. He was like a total douchebag. He was a total asshole. Total asshole. Yeah. Going to church every Sunday, like shaking hands with the pastor, and I was like, you are such a fucking hypocrite. Yeah. And those are the things that I experienced, and I think a lot of people now are experiencing, and really thinking about, like, just because somebody goes to church on Sunday and knows the pastor and shakes hands, doesn't mean that
they practice those things.
Right. Exactly. It's almost
it's a facade.
It's a facade. Yeah.
I knew you were about to say that.
Get out of my head.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, again, it's because society teaches us to, at least growing up, to look external. Like, we don't go inward a lot. And really inward when you go and explore yourself.
If you go inward.
Yeah.
It's scary.
But when you do those things, that's when you really expand.
The shadow work.
Yes.
Yeah, which we've talked about.
We've talked about. If you missed that episode, go back and check out shadow work.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
But it's true. I think that people are always looking for something external to fix themselves. Or I think the other part of that, and with what I do, I always talk about the two world views of the world. You have the victor mentality and you have the victim mentality. And I think a lot of time what happens with religion, it's easier to blame someone else. Like when something bad is happening, they're like, oh, why would God do that? I'm like, well, that's not really what God did. You kind of attracted that, and that happened in your life.
Yeah. Could be a cycle of karma too.
Yeah. Or if it's the other way, right? It's like if something good happens, you're like, oh, thank God, like all these things. And it's just like, no one, I feel like a lot of people, I don't want to say no one, a lot of people just don't like taking responsibility for things, for their own actions. And that's the truth of the matter. It's hard. It is fucking hard.
I don't like it.
Because when you screw up,
I don't like it.
It's your fault. You're like, oh, shit. That was me. That was my bad.
Yeah, and that's a pride thing, I think, too.
That's the egoic mind. And if you don't know what the egoic mind is, you should definitely look it up.
It's very much ego.
Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about the egoic mind, so any of his books would be really good to read.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the difference between, like, religion or Christianity, we were talking about spirituality, I myself have had that conversation a lot because I tend to be a spiritual person. I've met so many people. I mean, we live in the Bible Belt. I've grown up in the Bible Belt. I'm around it a lot, okay?
Yeah.
The topic tonight is God, Lorraine. So for me, I remember, especially when I first started Transcend, so let's say five, almost 6 years ago, when I first started getting into religion and things like, or not religion, just the other side, like Eastern, like energy, like all of those type of things. Outside the norm, outside of the Bible Belt things that I learned growing up. I remember talking with those things about people and the reactions that I would get from people. Like, people saying it was like voodoo or just weird shit.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, witchcraft. Like, I'm so confused. I'm not a witch. I mean, that'd be cool, but I'm not.
Yeah. We're all, I think, a little bit of witch.
Yeah, but anyway, with religion, so many people would just get completely turned off. They won't even be open to or receptive to the conversation to be had about
because you're outside the box.
Yeah.
You're outside of their comfort box.
You're being blasphemous.
And they're like, that's weird. I don't like that. I don't understand. I can't question that because there's that fear on, this is going against everything I was ever told to believe.
Yeah.
And everyone that I'm friends with, I can't lose all of that. If I lose that, what am I?
Yeah. Well, and I found too, one thing that really triggers, religious people in general, is when you ask them why they believe what they believe. I can say for myself why I believe in spirituality is because I've experienced it, I've lived it, I've explored all these other things, and this is where I'm at right now. And that could change at some point, and that's okay too. Like, people also get stuck in that if they were raised with Christianity or whatever. It's very hard to get out because, like you said, it becomes part of their identity. They don't know who they are outside of that because they were never allowed to explore that, because if they did, that'd be blasphemous. Right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty interesting. And even as a kid, I remember asking, I ask lots of questions because I like to know how things work, things like that. I like to learn. Again, that's why I ask questions.
You're curious. I'm supposed to be curious.
Super curious.
We're born curious as kids. Like, we're just always asking questions and wanting to know. Yeah. And so,
like, why?
Slowly.
Why does this work?
Right. So slowly, I think for a lot of people, that kind of gets, mashed out of them. Just like, oh, well, this is just because you can't question this.
Exactly.
But luckily, for some of us, or when we get later on down in life, that kind of resurfaces, and we're like, I think when we have a little bit more power as adults, which is sad that kids don't have their own power, but as adults, you feel, I guess, safer in some cases, questioning things.
Nobody can tell you what to do.
Right.
You're like, I'm a grown-ass adult.
Right. You can't ground me or, so.
Yeah, so, like, I would question things a lot when I was younger with religion, and that's one of the things I was met with is, you're atheist. Like, I legit was told.
And how old were you when
I was under 10?
That's so sad.
And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not saying I don't believe in something.
And then that's somebody labeling you, saying, oh, well, you asked this question, so you're labeled this, like immediately.
Like, and I'm just like, wait, what just happened?
And we see that a lot in society today. Just because you question something, boom, there's that label.
There's a label, and I hate labels.
And you're honestly. Like, I was literally just asking a question. And that tends to happen when there's no answer. They're like, oh, I don't have an answer. This does not compute in my computer brain.
You can see like a twitch happen, and then there's out.
Yeah. So you're automatically put in that, crazy file in their computer brain.
Well, I don't know. I ask questions because I want to understand, and who knows? If I ask someone a question, maybe it's like opposing views, right? And I'm asking questions because I want to understand. Because I asked that question, and if they were to actually answer, there's a better chance that I might actually switch my view. Who knows, right? Instead of you just shutting down, and just not having that conversation, you could actually say something that I'd be like, oh, that's actually a good point. Yeah. At least that's the type of person I am. When I ask questions, like, I'm always open to...
There's always a nugget there. Yeah. There's always the chance of a nugget. Like,
exactly.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
I didn't think of it that way, Because everyone has their own perspective, and this person may share something with me that I didn't even think of. So... So that's one thing. So the other thing we put down about what is religion versus spirituality, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, but religion is more so controlling.
Structure.
Like structure, like in a box.
Design.
Check yes or no. You have to do these things or you're going to heaven or hell.
For a purpose. Yeah. It's a system.
Yeah.
I mean, where there's black and white. This is how it is. This is what you do. And if you don't follow this, then
this is what happens.
You're outcast.
Yeah,
it's not open to discussion.
All encompassing and things like that.
It's very rule following and in the box. It's a box essentially.
Whereas spirituality is more all encompassing. Like you're allowed to think that. I believe actually spirituality is the opposite because it's like. With spirituality, you're supposed to question everything. You're supposed to find the connections. You're supposed to do all these things and see how they're all connected.
Oh, yeah.
It's like literally like a puzzle. The opposite.
It's a puzzle. You're like, go find the puzzle pieces and put them together. Yeah. It's it's like that meme where religion is a fish in a fishbowl, And then spirituality is the ocean.
The ocean. That's seriously the best example.
Yeah, it may be, I don't know, it may be safer in the bowl, but it's so confined and constricted. And when you have the whole ocean to explore, why would you want to stay in that tiny little fishbowl?
I think that also the difference for me, and I know that maybe people watching this have a different opinion or they've had this experience with religion. I'm just speaking from my perspective. So with religion, I wasn't allowed to explore the things that I wanted to question, whereas with spirituality, I was allowed to question everything and learn everything and see what aligned with me. And then I'm like, oh yeah. So I think in all my experiences that I've had, I've just had better experiences with spirituality because
it's much more positive, isn't it?
It really is. Like, in the past, not so much now because I'm more outspoken now and I'll speak my truth and I will stand up to people.
Same.
But in the past, I was very quiet, very shy, very reserved, like more inward. So when people would come up to me, for example, one time I was walking through a Walmart with a girlfriend. I was a teenager at the time.
Oh my gosh, this story is...
I know. So I was walking through Walmart, just holding hands. That's all we were doing. No PDA, like just holding hands, walking through Walmart.
Yeah.
And this old lady comes up to me and puts her hand out. And I was like, thought she was wanting to shake my hand.
I'm laughing because this is like ridiculous, not because
So I thought she wanted to shake my hand, so I put my hand out. And then she looks at me, puts her other hand out, and puts the pamphlet in my hand. And then it's like, I'll pray for you. And the pamphlet's like, I'm going to hell. Like all these things. And I'm just like...
So there's literally people carrying around these pamphlets looking
That's what I'm saying.
For
like
gay people to like shame them and just like hit them with a pamphlet.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Oh my God, like
I would do the opposite. I would walk around with like little sticky notes of like nuggets, love things, and I'd give those out.
Or like, I like your hair.
Yeah, I like anything. Or I'll just say that. I say those things to people, but
yeah,
it's interesting to me that. Like in that situation, that person didn't even say hello to me, like ask my name, like literally anything.
Nothing.
The only interaction was like they saw two girls holding hands. It was like, all right, I'm giving them the go to hell pamphlet.
Exactly.
That's the one today.
And that's what you never could have been sisters. You never know. Yeah. Like you're just like assuming
that happens
they're
a lot.
Gay, and then if they are gay, like who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Like you're not hurting anybody.
Well. The other thing with that is I know that in their mind, because they don't know the bigger scheme of things, that they literally think they're doing you a purpose too. Like they're trying to save you in their mind. They're justified what they're doing.
Such an interesting, like they're allowed to tell you how to live your life, but if you try to tell them how, it's like you can't do that.
It doesn't make sense.
So it's like, why is your viewpoint or your opinion the only right one? And that's what all this boils down to is like. There's the one right way, it's the one correct way, and if it's not that way, then you're wrong and you're going to hell. Which is, it's such a weird concept when you really try to think on it and understand it. Like it just doesn't make sense because there's so many other things in life where, oh yeah, you can go to this type of school or you can be a vegetarian or vegan. Like it's kind of your choice, but with religion, it's so.
Black and white.
So black and white. And people get so upset. And I mean, how many people have been killed in religious wars? So many people have lost their lives because of religious bullshit. It's sad. It's really fucking sad.
I think one thing too is like with religion, and I think the reason some people get so triggered is because they don't understand why they believe those things. Because with religion in general, it's usually passed down, right? Like, well, they're this way because their parents were this way, or their parents were this way, or however far down the line it goes, they were always told to not question it. Mm-hmm. So when you get someone who's considered religious, I'm not saying everybody, some people have their own experiences, but for the most part, I'd say 9 out of 10 people that I've asked this question, like, why do you believe what you believe? And they can't tell me. They're like, well, it just is. That's just how it is. Like, and I'm like, no,
explanation.
And I'll keep asking questions because I want to know. I want them to explore for themselves. I'm like, okay, I understand that, but
you're gonna glitch them out.
But that happens. That's literally what happens.
Start glitching their brain. They're like,
I do. I'm like, but why do you think that? Why do you believe that? Because so many people
answer for that.
Just blindly take things. And like with what I do, when I talk about rewiring the mind and programming and all things, religion is one of the biggest programs that's passed down from whoever was raising them, or like she said, like schools they were going to or whatever. Like people don't even question it; they just take it on and don't even ask themselves, "Is this right for me?" Now, I'm not saying ever. Some people later in life, like you said, might have grown up that way for 20, 30 years, and they're like, I don't know if this really aligns with me anymore. And then they might change it, or maybe they stay with it, but they're at least exploring why they believe those certain things.
Right.
As opposed to just not knowing and just blindly saying, well, it's because the book says it, and it's got to be true.
Right.
Because we all know there's lots of books out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I got to read over here.
Okay, yeah, it's a long comment.
Michelle
Good.
says...
And yeah, drop your comments, too. We want to talk about things.
Michelle's saying exactly what I was about to say. Okay,
yeah.
Michelle says, hell and heaven is a state of mind, not a place we go to. We are in our life when we transcend into the next is where we will be. If we haven't learned to create the heaven in our mind while we are here on earth, I believe is when we will be back again in another life to learn these lessons until we figure it out. That's what I believe anyway.
Reincarnation.
Yes.
How blasphemous.
What a thought. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
I believe that too.
I believe that too.
I also believe that heaven or hell is not a place or destination. My belief on heaven or hell is that is present time, how we experience this reality in the now. It's either heaven or hell, depending on what we...
And it can go back and forth. It's not like it's always heaven.
It's
always
like
hell.
You're damned forever.
Right.
Whatever.
It's that, and that's the whole thing I never got is... Why does a God that loves us be like, oh, fuck you can go to hell forever because you made this mistake? And you're like, that makes
sense.
But that's part of the religious programming within the system is they want to create that fear to get you to behave so you're not damned for all eternity. They want that fear instilled in you so that you comply. Yeah. I will not comply.
Well, see, and that's why I think one of the things that I didn't understand about religion with me specifically, always bringing up the gay, you're gay, you're going to hell. Like, I'm like,
you're gay.
Yeah, I'm like,
so bad. You're such a bad person.
Well, first of all,
stupid.
That's literally saying that you believe that God makes mistakes, and this is someone who you say doesn't make mistakes.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm very confused as to why you think you're basically saying God fucked up is what you're saying, right. And I don't believe that. I believe that.
Right. And God, who are you to tell somebody else what they're thinking or what their experience is? It's so
people. Here's the thing. It's because people like to make themselves feel better a lot of the time, and it's easier to point the finger and not look at their own shit.
Oh yeah,
it's
that shadow work.
It's the shadow work that we talk about.
The shadow work is such a big part of the discovery of the self, and so when you avoid trying to discover yourself and ask yourself questions and like why you believe something, you're not doing yourself any favors. If you're not expanding. You're staying stuck.
Yeah. And we're not meant to be stagnant beings.
No.
We're literally extensions of the universe, and the universe is ever expanding. Mm-hmm. We're meant to continue to evolve, to learn, to keep questioning, to have new ideas. That's how that works.
I find the more I've gotten into this, the more people that that question things and start doing the shadow work and exploring different possibilities and putting the puzzle pieces together, they just seem happier. And that doesn't mean their lives are perfect or they're happy all the time. They're just, I don't know, they seem to be in better spirits most of the time instead of just being stuck in the same old cycle. They're going through the ebb and flow of life, and they find more enjoyment.
Yes. I was going to say,
they're better people to be around. They're happier.
Well, I was going to say to that too, I read an article not that long ago that it literally said that about how it was talking about anxiety and depression, which are two of the leading things that most people are experiencing nowadays. Mm-hmm. And it was
get comments now. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
So in this article, they were explaining that people who tend to be more religious or spiritual have better ways of getting out of depression or relieving anxiety because of the things you just said. They see the connection more and everything else. Yeah. It's more enjoyable. They just see the bigger picture. They know in some kind of source it's just greater than, and that a God wouldn't condemn them to this thing. Like, it's again the shadow work. They see that, oh well, I'm thinking this way because this happened, or I'm having this experience, and this is what I'm manifesting, basically. Yeah. So we're gonna read this comment real quick because it's the last one, long one. But yeah, if you guys have comments on these things we're talking about, again, if you're new to the viewing, drop them in the comments below. This is an interactive talk that we have in discussion with you guys. It's not just a one-way thing. Also, we'd like to know if you consider yourself religious or spiritual or whatever it is. Put it in the comments because I want to see the mixture of what our viewers are, or
what has been your experience,
and has it changed?
Yeah. And you can't offend us with anything you say. This is an open space. These are the discussions that need to be had. Because nobody wants to have them. You've always heard like, well, you can't discuss politics and religion.
This is a safe space.
And like, first of all, politics is bullshit, so I don't like to talk about it. But religion needs to be talked about because there's so many different aspects.
Yeah.
And we need to find the common ground and like where things interconnect and find the beauty and how we can coexist together. Like it's so important to have these discussions about religion. So yeah, let us know what your experience has been. If it's something, if you're struggling with it right now, what questions you have. Like just let's talk about this stuff.
This is the time to do it, people. This is what the space is for. Okay, I'm going to read Jamie's comment real quick.
Okay, cool.
Jamie said, I believe Christianity missed the mark in realizing divine feminine and masculine within us with Jesus and Mary Magdalene to oppress women. I believe they were spiritual and understood the God within you that you spoke of earlier. I believe they meditated and believed in supernatural beings as well. But Lord, if you say something like this, blasphemy.
Oh, I know.
100%.
God forbid
Jamie,
you say that. Okay, so
she's so right on with this.
So on this,
yes, let's hear it.
Okay, I'll fix my hat here.
Let's do it.
Kidding. Just kidding.
It's getting real.
Getting real. So when Jesus said, and of course I don't know the exact quotes.
Were you there? Are you sure? Technically, time doesn't exist, so you might have been there.
That's
Who
true.
knows?
Everything's happening all at once.
All right.
So the I am. That's what Jesus was teaching us. He wasn't saying I am, meaning he only was. The I am is the only way to embody I am. I am God, essentially.
Yes.
That's what we are. So he was trying to teach us that we all need to find that I am. We all need to believe the I am. So when I say I am, I am. Just like if you say it.
Yes.
So you can't say you are.
Yeah.
It's only I am.
Honestly.
And we totally missed that. We took that, or the Roman Empire mistranslated and fucked things around. Sorry, I say fuck a lot. And made it seem like Jesus, or Yeshua, I think is how the actual pronunciation or some form of that.
He was not a white guy. Like
he wasn't a white guy either.
There's just no
Jesus
way.
Christ. Oh,
Literally.
Sorry. Oh my God. We're so. We're all going now, right? No, I'm just kidding. So they turned that into. They turned him into an idol.
Yes.
He didn't want to be an idol. He was trying to teach us how we could all be one.
I'm so glad you're talking
how to
about
be
okay.
I am. He didn't want to be a fucking idol. He wanted to have fellowship with people and have discussions and hang out with hookers and murderers and all these people.
Prostitutes.
Right. That's who Jesus was. So I'm not a Christian, but I'm a follower of Jesus, but I will not wear that Christian label because it's been
tainted.
It's been tainted.
It's not the originally.
It's not what he meant, you guys. The I am. We are I am. That is like that just made me think of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like we are Groot. You know, I am Groot. Like
that's true.
Sorry, my mom crazy brain.
So to what she said, the I am. First of all, I am is one of the most powerful statements you can ever make. Yes. And what I mean by that is the vibration to which you say that, and to anything that is after that is what you are manifesting. Mm-hmm. So when I talk to you guys about language and stuff all the time and why it's important and, you know, you're not supposed to say these negative things, it's because there's really vibration and it's powerful. Mm-hmm. So if you say something... intention behind it. So if you say something negative about yourself and you say, I am, fill in the blank, something negative.
Like, oh my God, I'm so fat.
Yeah.
I'm so ugly. Like,
you're literally creating that. So just be intentional when using that statement, I am, whether it's just I am or whatever follows that, because it's a very powerful, I don't want to use, what do you want to say, like incantation that you're using when you use that
spell?
Yeah, like a spell. Really, it's all the same thing. It's just a different word.
It's just an energetic force that you put through, because that's what thoughts and speech and intention are.
Everything's a vibration.
It's just a force that you speak into existence. So when you say, I am beautiful, or I am fucking awesome, or I am a good mom, like, and that's when it's really important to say that and reaffirm that when you are having a rough time. Like, I'm a mom of 3 kids, I homeschool, life gets crazy, sometimes I yell at my kids, and sometimes I say bad words in front of them, okay? I'm not perfect. So when I'm really having a rough day and I'm like, God, it was like a shitty day, and I wasn't the mom I wanted to be, I still say, I am a good mom because I'm aware and I'm trying
And
I'm doing my best. And there's always tomorrow. And what can I learn from today to
Exactly.
carry tomorrow? So I've really worked hard on myself to stop saying like, oh, I'm such a bad mom. Such a bad mom because I did this, or I'm such a bad friend, or I'm such a bad person. I'm just saying, I am a good mom. I am a good person. I am a good friend. I am fucking awesome.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
High five.
So
okay.
are you.
So listen, I want to touch on what else she said about, him, Jesus, being an enlightened being, because that's my belief. I believe that Jesus was an enlightened being. I believe that, in that time gap, all those years he was missing, my belief...
Alien, perhaps?
Maybe. We'll get on that, too. So my belief is that he went over, met with Buddha, right? And he was teaching these same principles. And they branched off so they could teach these to everyone else to show you that you have these powers inside of you. That we all have the same capability. And what happened was, with religion, they put him in a pedestal and made him like this god, like this idol that... we had to look up to when he was just trying to, like you said, teach us we have these powers. We have the same ability in ourselves. For example, when I do Reiki on people, the way I explain it now, because I live in the Bible Belt all of these years, I had to find a way to explain it where I can meet people where they're at, and they can also get where I'm at, and we can meet in the middle.
Right.
So Jesus, used to do healing on people. He'd heal the blind, do all these things, laying hands, right? Okay, so that's how I explain to Reiki, because it is usually a hands-on. We can also do it, when I do these lives or whatever. Sorry, I was about to knock this over. So anyway, I explain it like that. I'm like, it's no different when I'm doing Reiki on someone than when Jesus was laying hands on people, and here's why. Because it's just being a vessel for that energy to flow through you. So when I describe it to a Christian person, when I'm talking about Reiki, I'm like, okay, when you go to church and someone's sick or hurt and they go up to the front of the church for the pastor or people or whatever to lay hands on them, I'm like, do you think those people are the ones doing the healing? And they're always like, no, it's God, it's Jesus, whatever. I'm like, exactly. It's the same thing. They're being a vessels. And when I'm doing Reiki, that's all I'm doing. I've just been trained to open myself up as a vessel to allow that energy to flow through me. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my 2 cents on that.
I love it.
Now I'm going to go back to these comments, because we have a lot. Oh, and then to what Jamie said, we do, okay, she hit that right on the head. We do have feminine and masculine energy within us, both. We are not one or the other. We are actually very fluid, and that's how we're meant to be.
A lot of people are unbalanced, though, with that. Like, you see that a lot with... I don't really like the term toxic masculinity. That makes it seem like masculinity is toxic, but it's just when the masculinity part just runs rampant, and you're like,
it's when it's
got to be a strong guy.
That's just ego,
fucking man ego. Like, that's not balanced. Like, it's okay for guys to cry and be sensitive.
It's actually the
things.
best for those things to happen.
And we see that a lot. So I have 3 boys, and we don't do the whole don't tough it out, be a man. It's like, they're allowed to have feelings. They're allowed to cry. They're allowed to express and want hugs and cuddles and snuggles from me and their dad. Like, there's none of that bullshit at our house.
That's good.
Yeah. It's just...
'cause you're creating the men of tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, they do laundry and dishes just like daddy does.
Yeah, it's not like a woman's job.
Right. There's none of that. It's like, we're all in this together, so we all got to do our part.
Okay, I'm going to read these comments now.
Okay.
Darcy said, it's crazy that people think being gay is a choice. If people would open up their mind, they would be able to tell from a very young age if their child is going to be gay. I say that because of my experience in watching my child grow into a smart, beautiful, kind, gay soul. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Darcy, because, first of all, I've had people say that to me. Okay? And if people knew what being gay was like, and the things that you have to experience on a daily basis, being fearful of walking down the street, even holding hands with somebody, because not just somebody approaching you like they did me, but actually getting beat up, getting harassed, getting raped, getting murdered. It happens all the time. Like, people...
It does.
It's just very interesting to me people think that would be a choice that someone would choose. Because some of the things I've dealt with, I would never choose to deal with those
Why
things.
would you choose to do something that makes your life
a living
harder?
hell sometimes, right?
Yeah, and that puts
not
you in
not
danger.
as much now. I mean, it's 2020. Stuff still happens, don't get me wrong. But even, I mean, I came out at 16, 17, and things have changed so much even since that amount of time, which is, thank God. But I remember that, like, being fearful of even being out in public. Like,
well, think back even like 100 years ago.
You would be stoned.
Oh, yeah.
To death.
I mean,
or hung, or burned at the stake, or whatever.
Yeah. And there's no reason. That's where religion causes all these things, for people to hurt and harm each other because you're different. It doesn't. So it's like you're walking down the street holding hands with your girlfriend. You're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
But like, why are we hurting people that don't hurt anybody? Like, we need to be worried about the people that are hurting the people, the innocent people. People hurting innocent people. Like, that's not okay.
What I come to understand.
In the name of Jesus or the name of God. Like, fuck no, that is not what Jesus did. He did not go around like...
Literally, who you said he was hanging out with.
Yeah. Like, he was hanging out with the...
Everybody.
The
riffraff, right? He didn't care. Yeah. That's all-encompassing love. Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's really just because people fear what they don't know or don't understand, and instead of stopping to ask questions, it's easier to persecute somebody else or, like you said, just judge them or all these other things.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay, Mandy said, I got kicked out of a youth group because I questioned who am I to tell someone the religion or belief they have been taught is wrong. I felt uncomfortable telling someone that what they believed in was wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's you speaking your truth, honestly.
Yeah.
But it was like in that situation, because you did that, you were questioning what they were teaching you, right?
Right.
So that's why you got in trouble, because you weren't obeying. They want you to obey. That's the whole point. The control part of that.
Yeah.
Michelle said, a spell indeed. Abracadabra means I will create as I speak.
Mm-hmm.
What we say holds so much power. 100% agree with that, Michelle. That is so accurate. Okay, we got a lot of... oh, shit. Sorry, I went too far.
Bear with us.
Yeah. So Michelle also said, I grew up with a Catholic grandma throwing holy water on us, but only heard the word God when we prayed during bad times or in vain. I took myself to a non-denominational megachurch at 27 when I hit rock bottom. First time in my life I truly believed something much more bigger than me. Now at 33 I am spiritual. Definitely not religious. Becoming more aligned with the universe is guiding myself by energy, and that inner voice is what I believe in. And that's super powerful, and I'm really happy for you that you were able to find that, because there's some people that they will continue to go their whole lives and never explore that or question that or go deeper in themselves to figure out what they actually believe and what actually aligns with them.
And I think that's kind of tricky too, because if you're going within to find these answers, like, you're not finding it in the Bible, which is the know-all be-all truth for a lot of Christians, and
which again was not translated correctly. If you guys actually want to
go back and look at, I'm not saying there's not truth in the
original.
Bible. There is, if you know how to translate
correctly.
But when you start questioning these things that there's no answer, like, I remember I had this issue with my husband for a long time. I was, it was probably about 7. Well, I guess it was kind of before we got married, so it went on for quite a long time. But it really started getting heavy about like 7 or 8 years ago, and I was starting to question these things and ask him questions, and he's like, well, that can't be right. How do you know that? And I was like, I don't know. I just feel this, and it just didn't quite compute with him at that time, and it caused a lot of arguments and different things. And it was really sad to go through 2 people that love each other, but they're at odds because one of them is just innocently asking questions.
Trying to understand.
And the other person was just so stuck in the box that there's like, there is nothing outside the box. And I'm like, but I'm outside the box, like, I'm here.
I'm real.
Right, exactly. But luckily we got through that, and like, we have amazing discussions now. And those are some of the best discussions to have with someone, whether it's a spouse or a friend or a brother or whoever.
It's an expansive conversation.
Because you're just talking about the coolest things, and someone will say something, and I swear something will click in your brain, and you'll remember something from 5 years ago, and you're like, holy shit, I totally see how that connects. And if we don't have those conversations, we can't make those connections.
Nope.
And we're missing out on so much. So just try to listen to people when they start asking you these things, because they're really, it comes from their soul, from their heart.
Comes from like a childlike place.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Like, just come open heart, and you just want to learn. And just ask those questions. Even if you consider yourself to be a religious person, just ask questions to understand why you believe what you believe.
Right.
Because I think you'd be surprised at what you figure out. Yeah. And you have to go internal to sometimes to figure those things out.
And people will take that as an attack sometimes. Just like an innocent question. Like, I'm literally just asking.
Same.
I am just curious. I'm not trying to offend.
Yeah.
But
I want to understand.
But even though you have that love and that energy around it, they take it as an offense because they're programmed to don't question. You got to defend just the way it is. And anyone that questions you
is against you. Which is not the case, because that's how some people join your perspective, right? Is asking questions and they're like, oh, that makes sense.
It's a program. They're programming your mind to go against your fellow man who's yourself too. Yeah. Ooh, that's so
because honestly, and
that's the hardest thing.
This is why I say that, because when I was being told, so I went to private school in kindergarten, first grade before I went to public school, and I knew I was gay in kindergarten. But being around and hearing that all the time, and no one really talking about, what gay was or anything like that, except for the negative context. That if you're gay, you're going to hell. That's the only.
You're damned.
That's all I heard. Yeah. So then I can't talk to people about it, right? So this is why I had anxiety and depression a lot, even as a younger kid, because I couldn't talk about these things. And so I thought, well, if that's the case, then I must be going to hell. Like, I'm a mistake. Like, all these things, because that's what I was being told. And that I couldn't be myself because there was something wrong with me. Now I know that's not the case, but I'm just saying, but as a child, that's why they're so
small and innocent and like sweet. Like, just to have, I'm just imagining like a little Ashton, just thinking she's like a bad person.
Yeah.
And
I kept to myself a lot. Like, I really did. I thought there was something wrong with me.
There are kids going through that today. And I just, oh my gosh, it hurts my mommy heart. I want to take all that and just be like, you're awesome the way you are. Yeah. And like, just come live on my land with me.
Yeah. I think you would love mom hugs. Yeah. Just saying. It's a group that's created for people that have that. Yeah. So like, honestly though, for teenagers, the highest suicide risk is LGBT. Like, that's the highest percentage, is because they think something's wrong with them. Yeah, and the only way out for them is to kill themselves. And I've been there. And it's
wrong.
Luckily I didn't succeed, but I've been there.
Thank God.
I'm just saying. And there's lots of people like that. And I think that the more we actually talk about these things and
bring awareness. We're just bringing awareness. That's what we do.
What if you're having this conversation and a kid happens to be listening, right? And then that helps them understand, okay, there's not something wrong with them. Maybe they haven't even told you. Like, I'm not saying everyone's gay. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, if they were like a kid and they hadn't said anything yet, maybe them hearing you have this conversation opens up that door for them. So one other thing that I was going to touch, is kind of random now, but going back to the Bible, having Bible verses thrown at me my whole life, another thing, like, that's what people do.
Fucking daggers, they go.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, well here's
like
this.
a weapon.
You're like, here's this. I'm like, what's happening?
The Bible's
I would say, I think there's this Lifetime or Hallmark movie. I think it was Lifetime. Okay. There's this movie, and it's based off a true story. And if you've not watched it, you should check it out. It's called Prayers for Bobby. And basically, what happened is this guy is gay, and he tells his mom, who's very religious, and that's just him. That's who he is. His mom is like, no, you're going to hell. So she starts the whole movie, and this is based off a true story. She's going around putting little sticky notes throughout the whole house, basically with all these Bible verses, or that he's going to hell, or whatever, like all these things, to the point where he ends up killing himself. He jumps off of a bridge and kills himself because his mom pushed all of that on him with religion and things. So he thought, well, this must be true. This is the only way to end it, right? Yeah. To fix it.
Well, over with.
So basically what happened is, after he kills himself, his mom founded PFLAG. She is the founder of PFLAG. And this is a true story. So now she's like one of the biggest advocates, right, for gay rights and all these different things. Yeah. But it took her losing her own son.
God, that's heartbreaking.
Isn't that horrible? And something similar, too, to the founder of Mom Hugs. She was that way before with religion and stuff. She has a gay son. And like, it changed for her, and then she ended up founding Mom Hugs, and now they travel the United States, like going around. I've been next to them at booths at Pride and things like that. Yeah. And basically, it's literally, well, it's not just moms now. Now it's moms and dads and everybody. Yeah. But I've heard so many heartbreaking stories being next to them at the booth, just kids coming up to them, some adults coming up to them that have no family because they've been disowned for being gay or because of religion. Because again, we live in the Bible Belt, so it's not as open, as like, say, like Seattle. If someone wants to come out in Seattle, there's more support system there. Here, that is not the case a lot of the time. People get kicked out of their homes and become homeless when they come out to their family a lot of the time.
I can't imagine a force so powerful
that you could disown
your child. Like that's evil, right? Like that's just...
I could never do that.
No. I mean, there's something, like when you really think about it from that perspective, something external that can convince you, like honestly convince you in your mind that like your kid is going to go to hell, that they're bad, and that you need to constantly tell them what a shitty person they are for just being who they are. Like that is a tremendously powerful program there.
Well, like here's an example.
Designed to hurt and destroy and dismember families, and it's happening all over the place, and that's not okay. There's something severely wrong with that.
Well, like years ago when I got married, I'm divorced now, but years ago when I got married, I had specific family members who told me, well, I love you, but I won't support that. And they ended up not going to the wedding or whatever, because solely of their religious beliefs. They couldn't even be there to celebrate with me in that time, or just be supportive of me because it didn't align with their beliefs. Which
I can't. For me, that just does not compute. I don't understand how you can disown your child for something like that, or members of your family that, I don't know, it's just, I don't understand it. And I know, but again, that's the power of religion. They get you to turn on those.
Well, let's not even talk about being gay. Let's talk about religion. So I know people too, like maybe they grew up Christian and they started exploring other faith, and again, that can cause a family to dissolve a relationship with them because they chose a different religion. Like, well, that's not what I believe. Like, and you see it all the time, and I'm just like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, because you're like, you're really gonna allow that to break up your family because of that?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I've never understood that. And like being a mom now, I don't understand. But that just shows how powerful this programming is. And it's gone on for generations. I mean, we can go back to when the Bible was written, like 2,000 years ago. It was created to, which version? Which
the
translation?
Or, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Or the modern, like, hey, handbook.
There's so many different
Did you
things.
sign the page and turn it in the day you were born?
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
There's so much to this, guys. But that's why, we're not experts on this. We're just talking about real life things that people should be talking about.
Yes. So I'm going to read these comments real quick.
Okay.
So Michelle said, I saw that movie talking about prayers to Bobby. Heartbreaking, but I hope it opened up the eyes to many. Yeah, it's sad that had to happen. And it's been so cool even to see in the past couple years. What's the one with Julia Roberts about, was it Julia Roberts? There was one a year or two ago, pretty recently, about conversion therapy. And actually today in Oklahoma, they voted on that to end conversion therapy.
I saw that, like, in my news.
Yeah, so just so you guys are aware, it's 2020 and that just happened today as far as Oklahoma allowed conversion therapy. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically if your kid's gay, you send them to this place and they cure your kid of being gay.
Basically tell them you're gonna go to hell, you're wrong for being who you are.
They've done that. They've done they've done straight up like torture tactics before on people, like things that were used back in the day in like the mental
facilities. Do they like where they screw a hole?
Well, not that. Usually it's like I'm saying like before they've done like shock therapy, cold submersion therapy, things like that. I don't think it's
fucking child abuse.
I know, but I don't know if it's to that degree now. But I'm just saying they literally just voted on that.
Still abuse though. Yeah. But God,
so isn't that crazy?
Don't be that person. Don't be that parent.
Darcy said that is heartbreaking. I've never heard of mom hugs. So yeah, Darcy, if you never heard of it, they tour all over the United States. So they'd probably be up there where you are if you check sometimes. But you can join it. And basically what it is, it's a support system of all these moms, dads, brothers, sisters, whatever. It's grown outside of just moms now. That literally they just go to these events to give LGBTQ kids, adults, hugs. And I've heard some of the most incredible and sad stories, like people coming up to the stranger to give this mom a hug and just like bawling their eyes out because I've heard like, it's been like 10, 20 years since I've talked to my mother or had a hug or whatever, and it's just so sad to hear the stories. And these moms also, some of them go to weddings because, these people have been disowned by their family. They don't have somebody to celebrate the day with that, so you should totally check it out. It's really good. Michelle said, that's what some of my family did because I date outside of my race. Yes, so I've also...
that's a good topic, too.
I've also dated outside my race. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And it is a thing. And
I mean...
I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either. I will say, I remember I was in high school, and this black guy asked me out to, a dance. I think I was a freshman. And I love my dad, and this is it. But he didn't want that because he just grew up with that, and so
because of his programming.
Yeah. And I didn't understand. I was really upset, and it just I don't understand that either. We're all human.
We all bleed the same blood, guys.
Who cares what color you are? I don't understand it. I'm not from Earth, okay? I don't understand
all these things are just labels to separate us when really we're all the same.
Yes, it's part of the system designed to get us to fight against each other, so we kill each other, and we create this energy of fear around us and negative energy, and they feed off that negative energy, and so to keep that going, so they can keep feeding off of our negative energy.
So quit playing the game. That's the only way.
Yeah.
So
take the red pill.
Yeah. So Jamie said, I was stripped of a leadership role at the church I used to go to because I am gay. I had a long conversation with the pastor where I went in Norman disproving the 6 scriptures about homosexuality and told him that I am strong in who I am, but there are kids listening to say being gay is a sin, or love the sinner, hate the sin.
Oh God, I hate that.
But then you say Judas might go to heaven. What the actual fuck? I expressed the suicide rates in LGBTQ youth, the harm of conversion therapy, etc. Ugh.
Oh my God. I love that you disprove stuff. I love when people get the Bible and they're like, well, look here.
And you're like, well, look here.
And that's the thing, is it contradicts itself so many things. They couldn't take out everything because they were so that's why you find all these contradictory things in here. Yeah. Where they talk about angels are basically aliens. I mean, when you look deep enough, you find some really cool shit there, and you find where it contradicts itself. It's amazing.
Darcy said, that's so wrong and horrible. I'm checking it out. That's awesome. And then Jamie said, they said I could still come to church, and I said, oh yeah, I can still tithe too? He said yes, and I said no thanks.
Oh, well, they'll still take your money.
They'll still take your money. Your gay money's okay, but you being gay is not. That's just stupid.
Your gay money. Oh my God. They will take your money.
Yeah.
And then you'll be rewarded for tithing.
I guess.
It has nothing to do with the law of attraction and the energy you put out there, or maybe, and one of the questions I had, talking about tithing, we've never tithed, ever. I was I don't understand it. Why can't I? Oh no, she's fine. So why do I have to give my money to the church and put it into other people's hands to do what they will, instead of me deciding what I want to do? Why can't I decide to donate to the animal shelter or to give my waitress an extra big tip? Why do I have to give control of something that I earned to somebody else?
Because that's
and I get the whole thing is because the church has programs and things, and that's great, and there are some great churches with some amazing programs, and so I'm not saying don't tithe. I'm just saying. But when I even questioned that, it was no, that's not the way. That's just, nope, you got to trust God. I'm well, what if God's fucking telling me
to ask
to
questions?
Do this? Yeah. To give this waitress an extra tip, or to donate to this, or whatever.
That's true, because every time I've done that and I followed my intuition with that person always needed it that day.
Right.
Every time.
Why can't I be in control of that by listening to my own heart and my own intuition? Because I am God, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Jamie said Sarah Cunningham with the the mom. Oh my gosh, Mom Hugs is amazing. A motherfucking badass, really. She is. Yeah. She is the founder of Mom Hugs, Sarah Cunningham. I don't know why I can't talk.
Michelle, get it together.
Oh my gosh. Michelle said, I've always been against the rules. I date black men and my best friend in the whole world is a gay black woman. I swear my whole family hated me. Oh well, I live my truth. Good for you. Yeah, good for you for staying true to you, because so many people wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because then they're just living in negative energy. Like, that's not serving them, but you're out there being fucking badass and just living life. That's awesome. That's what people need to do.
Experience life.
Yeah.
And you experience it by getting outside the box and outside of your comfort zone. That's where growth happens.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's negative of you to question things or, you know, experience them. It's actually better for you to grow.
It is. Even though it may be difficult to go through. Like, once you're on the other side, you're like, you can just, like, breathe better. Just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, I'm finally outside the box. Look at, the air's better out here.
It's
fuck that box. Yeah. I'm gonna go back in there.
It's all stagnant there and already breathed in air.
Someone farted in there.
Yeah. It's all stale air.
I'm sorry.
You're funny.
We're stupid.
That's true though. I mean, everything that I've been through, every experience I've ever had in exploring these things as far as religion or spirituality or belief systems or whatever, the more I've expanded and got outside of that box, it's just more knowledge that I'm gaining. And I already have the religion stuff. I already have all that, and I'm just getting more other sides of the story because, for what I do, for example, a one-size-fits-all is bullshit. There are going to be some people that come to me that don't believe in God. There are going to be some people that believe in Allah or the universe, and I can't I can't push my beliefs on that person. I have to be all-encompassing for what I do to meet them where they are. Exactly.
And we're like, okay.
It's over.
I'm like, okay, you can believe that. Like, I don't,
I think it's pretty cool, like, to actually explore things, and that's also just because I like to, again, ask questions. I've been a question person my whole life.
Yes, it's awesome to be a question person.
Yes,
because you learn so much more.
Yeah,
and you make some awesome friends, and that doesn't mean you have the exact same views on everything. You like that. That's not what this is about. It's like you're not trying to find cookie cutter people of you.
Even spirituality, like we don't want you hooking on to somebody that's just all spiritual either. We like explore everything. It's a melting pot of ideas and energy and experiences that can help you. What were your notes that you said earlier? You said you had someone.
Oh yeah, I had a few. I think I've talked about them.
Just want to make sure you covered all of them.
I do. So one of the thing, back to I guess God specifically, talking about the Bible and translations and all these other things. So. Hang on, I gotta find my notes here on my phone. Okay.
Bear with us.
Let's see. So, the word God, so like, think if you're reading the Bible, it says God. If we go back to original Hebrew, the word was Elohim. It's a plural word. It's not singular. So, meaning if you see the word God in the Bible, just understand it could have meant more than one God.
More than one being, us, collectively.
It could have meant good or bad. So when I think of, like in the Bible, there's those horrible stories where you have to do like horrible things to people. Like, I don't know the story, so please forgive me. Like the one where like, oh, you go kill your own son. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like God, I don't know. Does it say God commanded? Anyways, it could have been at the negative entity of God. And so this is probably super controversial, saying like, oh, so God is not a singular person. Like, no, it could be multiple things. Well, what do you mean multiple? Like, oh, people from the sky. Because if we go deeper into it, the original translation of heaven translates to sky, outer space, a cosmos, or universe. And you're like, okay, well, maybe, whatever book, blah, blah, blah. But every other book around that time period meant the same thing. It didn't mean like heaven as we see it now. Mm-hmm. So heaven basically means space. And then let's see.
I like this part, the mighty ones. What it translates to.
Oh yes, it translates to mighty ones, so it's plural.
Showing about mighty the word God itself.
Yeah, Elohim. The original Hebrew word Elohim translates as mighty ones, which is not singular, meaning a singular God. It's plural, meaning there were many people visiting from the sky back then. And then, I mean, there's things about angels and
what's the stuff about angels? What do we get about angels? I like
okay, about angels. So there was, like, Old Testament Hebrew the word was Malak. New Testament Greek was Agelos. Translates as one sent from where, sent from Oranus, which was the sky. I'm horrible like when I have notes here. I'm much better ad-lib, okay, guys?
Good.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. I'm just going to go back through these.
So basically, messengers from the sky. Ones of the mighty ones, extraterrestrial form of space. So there's just so many things. Beelzebub, which is basically Lord of Flies, the devil. Then there's Baal, the ancient god. I mean, there's so many different things. When you just really start looking at original translations, that's where you get to the really good stuff. Because you start to notice things. You're like, oh, so...
That's what we were talking about earlier.
People coming down from the sky? Oh, like the fiery chariots. I forget where that one was. Where the hell was that? Where was it? That was one of my favorite. Basically talking about spaceships and aliens. Oh. In the Bible. I need to do another more organized version of that talk. But, I mean, original translations will reveal a lot about what was true back a long time ago that has since been buried 2,000 years later.
Yeah. Well, and again, because when things are translated, they don't always equate over to what language it's being translated to. Right. So
it's like they do their best.
Yeah, they're like, well, what's the closest word in this language that we could translate it to? And that's why we talked about if you go back to the original things versus, what it is today, I think you'd be really surprised at the difference in what they actually are. Mm-hmm. Because they did the best they could.
Oh, yeah. What do you think just even playing remember the telephone game back in kindergarten?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you were going to talk about that last time, about the actual, there wasn't a lot of written things. And so it was things that were passed around just from talking.
Oh, yeah. Just stories by mouth. And so, remember the telephone game back in grade school?
Yes.
I mean, do they still do that now?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm 35.
It's where you tell someone something, and by the time it gets back around to you, it's like totally not what you said at the beginning.
Right.
You're like, no.
You have like a circle of 10 people, and you're like, I like cheese pizza. Only you're like, I like cheese pizza. And you're whispering.
Yeah.
And then, like, as it goes around back to you, it ends up like...
It's something opposite.
I don't know.
I love pineapple pizza. I don't know. Whatever.
But it could be even crazy things. Like, I saw a dog at the park or something. Like, you never know. It gets lost in translation.
Yeah.
Even when it is happening right there with you, mouth to mouth. So, like, these...
Mouth to ear. Mouth to ear.
Well, if someone needs, like, CPR.
That's true.
Mouth to mouth. Oh, my God. It's getting late. I need my Cheez-Its.
Oh, God.
I eat Cheez-Its.
The point is, things get lost.
They get lost in translation. And now I'm laughing. And so we can't expect to have original translations from something that happened 2,000 years ago. Especially when you get man involved that want to control the world. There is no possible way. I always told my husband, it's like, the day that God hands me a handwritten Bible is the day I will believe every single word in the Bible. That's never going to happen.
I think the other thing you said about it, too, is not only things being lost in translation, you were talking about somebody would go tell a story, right? And it would be different.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe they couldn't understand.
Oh, yeah. Or they would just, like, so something would happen, with the book of, I don't know, all the books. Like I said, I'm not a Bible expert. But yeah, a lot of these things were stories passed down from generation to generation. And so by the time they're like, oh, we should write this down, it happened 2 or 3 generations ago. So we're like, okay, well, tell me the best version. And so things are going to get changed. Facts are going to get elaborated. People tend to elaborate to make stories seem more grand and exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, most books that you read, they're like that.
Exaggeration. So translation, exaggeration, just time, control, systems. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main basis is we're all God.
Yeah. I am.
We are extensions of God, of source, of universe, of infinite intelligence, of life force, energy, whatever word you want to give it, label, it doesn't really matter because labels are really stupid. But it's just, to me, that is all energy.
Yeah.
and that energy is love. So that's my belief.
Yeah.
So no matter what word I use for it, at the end of the day, it's not a person, it's an energy that I am talking about, that I am connected to, that I am living and experiencing life through and for all the time as an extension of itself, is that energy of love. Oh, awesome. So one more thing that I was going to also say. So I posted this thing earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
Because this aligns with me a lot. So, like I told you, growing up with religion and things like that, one of the things that always stuck with me, that I use to this day, which is called the golden rule, right? So in Buddhism, well, let me say Christianity first, because that's where I first heard it. So do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So that's something that I still today practice, right? If I was to do something to Morgan, I would only want to do, what I would want her to do to me. Right. In Buddhism, these are all the same thing, just translated differently again, but it means the same thing. Mm-hmm. So in Buddhism, it is hurt not others with that which pains you. Mm-hmm. In Hinduism, it is treat others as you would yourself be treated. In Islam, it is do unto all men as you would wish to have done unto you. Judaism is what you yourself hate, do not do to no man. And then Native American is live in harmony, for we are all related, which I am Native American, so I like to align with that also. Yes, I don't look like it. You see my German more than anything, but I'm definitely, I've got Mexican, Native American, Black, Dutch, German. I got a lot. My ancestors like to, party.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Oh my God.
So anyway, my basic thing is I've studied many different types of religions, learned about different things because I like to learn. And I found that very interesting, that one thing that always stuck to me, again, they're all saying the same thing, just a little bit slightly differently, but it's all the same thing. Love. Yeah. Do unto others as you do to yourself. Yeah. And it was just said.
I think that's the deepest truth of anything.
Yeah, 7 different ways I just told you. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's all I got on that. I just want to share that because
that's good.
That was pretty good.
Oh, your computer's about to die.
I know, so I plugged it in. We're back. Your frozen face. Samale's laughing at it. So I guess so. Did you guys
I have
see
the
that?
weirdest frozen faces. I'm like,
It was great. That was awesome.
Oh,
okay.
God,
well, I don't have anything else on it.
No, I think
we appreciate those of you who stayed on this whole time and the comments and things that you've said, because
awesome.
I think
going blurry. Oh, are they interfering because we're talking about
it's
stuff?
Okay, we're about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for your comments and stuff, because people that go back, maybe they're not on the lives with us, they always go back and they reread these comments or see them pop up as they're watching, and it's important because even if they're not in the real-time conversation with us, like on the lives like you guys
There's no real time.
Yeah, time doesn't exist really. Yeah. But you're maybe giving them some input that we're not saying, that they're able to see in the comments because of you sharing. And that's why we do these lives, because again, this is an open dialogue conversation, and these are conversations that need to be had. Mm-hmm. And that's why Morgan and I even started Awaken, is because we want to hold the space for those conversations to be had. And we're very controversial. We'll talk about anything and everything.
We are, because
they're conversations that people need to talk about, but maybe don't have someone to talk to about it, are afraid to talk to about it, or don't even know what to ask. So that's why we hold the space, because who knows, we could be talking about something that could trigger a thought in your mind that you're like, oh, I have this question that I've never been able to ask, so now I'm going to ask it or share or whatever. Yeah. And that's why we created this space. So we appreciate you guys being a part of that.
We do.
Because Awaken would not be a thing if you weren't
just
participating. It would be so boring just talking.
Then I'd just come over here.
Yeah, we would just hang out.
Which is still fine. It's awesome. But we prefer to get other people in on the conversation too.
Because that's what community is. That's what support is. That's
how we grow this movement.
Yeah.
That's how we light the world up.
That's how we wake other people up. So by you guys speaking your truth and sharing your stories or your experiences, like, who knows, somebody reading those comments might read yours and be like, oh my God, I've experienced that same thing. I'm not alone. Mm-hmm. Because I will tell you, as human beings, for some weird reason, we think we're the only ones that have ever went through the thing we're going through. Which is bullshit, because there's over 7 billion people of us, 7 billion of us, and there's no way that we're so unique that we've only been the one to ever experience that. Yeah, so
it's ridiculous.
Michelle said, I just adore y'all. Keep it up. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks. And we will, for sure.
So we do these every other Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So since we went live this Wednesday, we will go live not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. So if you're friends with either one of us, you can follow our page, or you can join our group, Awaken Vlogcast community, and we always share them in there. It has all the past episodes. Or you can check out our website. What's your website?
intentionallyminimalish.com.
And then mine is transcendwellnessok.com. And we have all of our replays on those also from all the past, not counting this one yet, but all the past 28 episodes if you guys want to go back and watch the earlier ones, to now. And then also, like Morgan said at the beginning, you can go like our new page that we just started like a week ago.
Ridiculous things.
It's funny. It's called. So the thing with Morgan and I is, if you guys have been watching, we're very lighthearted. We're not very serious.
We're weirdos.
We talk about serious things, but we're lighthearted.
But
about
in a fun way.
Yeah, that's the whole point. We don't want it to be dry and boring.
I hate learning. Well, I can't learn if it's boring.
Yeah,
I just can't. But like if it's funny, it catches my attention, and then it sticks in your mind.
Yes.
You're like, oh, okay. So that's how we.
That's how we have these
talk
conversations.
about things.
Yeah.
We want it to stick in your mind and stand out and be fun and not be a boring lecture.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
we love memes.
Yes.
And GIFs.
And videos.
Videos.
So we got lots of those things coming, but you can go like and follow our page, the new one we just created. It's called Lighten Up.
Yeah.
And I can share it in the comments here after this video is over. But basically, like I said, we're just creating like funny things that are. It's about real things that we talk about all the time. It's just like a little funnier side to it. It's not
life
so serious.
Is too serious. Like we need
to lighten
humor.
up. That's why we call it lighten up.
That's where we.
We also called it lighten up because of enlightenment. To open the third eye. It's what Awaken actually is about. We want to awaken the masses, and that's how we do that. Is having these types of conversations.
It's a play on words.
Yeah. So you guys should check it out. It helps when you guys share these videos, or if you share any of the things from Lighten Up, because it helps people connect. That's how we broaden this grid of light workers and awaken consciousness in people that we're trying to light up. So if you see something that aligns with you, share it, because then it's going to reach all your people that we can't even reach. That's right. And who knows?
It's a team effort.
Yeah, you might share this video and someone like that you would have never thought would have connected with it, like because of the topics we talk about, might. And you might wake them up and they might mention it to you. So you never know. It's like you having the conversation without having to have the conversation.
Yes.
We'll do it for you. We'll be your muscle men.
We will.
Or women in this
case.
We
don't mind. Yeah.
We got this.
Muscle people.
All right, well, that's all I got for the night. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
We covered a lot.
Yes.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
Seriously.
Good gracious.
Thank you guys, seriously, for tuning in to all these episodes. We've been doing this for almost a year now, and I'm just really excited to see how much it's grown, and excited to see what else is to come that we are still creating now. And it's really
creators.
Cool. Yeah, it's really cool to see what it's manifested and created in the people that it's woken up along the way, and to see everyone from where they were when we started this to where they are now, especially some of our viewers and stuff. It's really, it lights up my heart and soul. Like, it makes me feel good and warm inside, because that's what we're here to do. So thank you guys, and we will see you not next Wednesday but the Wednesday after at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for a special Awaken Vlogcast.
Oh yeah.
So stay tuned. Peace out, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.